Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Walking with J.Beau, an almost daily walking vlog. I want to thank you for walking with me on this beautiful 64-degree day, Fahrenheit, for you Europeans or people using the metric system, Celsius system, and all those other things that not really many Americans know about. But don't laugh at us too hard, please. But anyways, it's overcast, it's getting windy, we got a front that's coming through, we're going to have very high winds tomorrow, and it's going to get cold again. But that's what it's like when you share a border with Canada. The weather never seems to stay in one place for very long. And if you hear a robotic noise while I'm talking, that is the automatic wind canceling in the camera that I have on. We have a few things to talk about today, some cool stuff. Trump is starting to make some appointees, ones that I approve of. Stefanik out of New York is one of them. And we have a border czar. Tom, I forget his last name, it's either Lohman or something like that. You know, you've probably seen him testify brilliantly in some congressional testimony hearings, as well as the, what do you call, Senate hearings having to do with the border and things like that. So, he's a very good guy. He's got a lot of, he used to be with ICE, still is. Very experienced. Been doing it many years. He knows what needs to be done. And he will be very good at it. So we're going to have people that know what they're doing in charge of these things. So a lot of people are debating on who the Secretary of State should be. And Stefanik, the Republican out of New York, Congresswoman, who has been by Donald Trump's, not really side, but stood up for, she stood up when it wasn't okay to do so. She defended him on January 6th. And she's tried and true, okay? So she's a good person. She'll be good for the job. She'll be loyal. So anyway, we're gonna have this dog barking. Hi, baby. He's doing his job. That's funny. I'm watching that dog do that. And this guy knows his dog, I can tell. And what's really funny is there's two holes underneath his fence that the dog could squeeze under to come after me if it really wanted to. And it didn't. So some dogs like that are all for show. And that was just pretty funny. So he was perfectly content with staying behind the fence, going back and forth barking at me. and he had an opportunity to come through a hole in the fence and decided not to. And it's just a dog being a dog. So anyway, I'm going to flip the camera around, and as you can see, I am recording and wearing my dark MAGA hat because we are no longer going to hide in the weeds. This wind was so big that now more people than not, depending on your location obviously, is now safe to come out of the MAGA closet, as it were. I'm still going to keep my head on a swivel, but you know, I enjoy my right as an American to carry a firearm legally, and hope that I never have to use it. But these days I don't go anywhere without carrying, and you shouldn't either. Legally, of course. Always be respectful of the law. And so anyway, we're walking on this beautiful stretch over here that you've probably, if you've watched more than one of my walks, this is a walking vlog. It is not an adventure traveling vlog. So a lot of times I walk the same routes. There's 5 or 6 different ones. But you know, this, for me, this is about exercise. 56 years old. Like to stay healthy. I have my wind. I lost a lot of weight. A few years ago I started that, and I'm at the lowest weight I've been since I was 18 or 19, maybe 20. Probably about 22. That's when a man gets his man weight, it's called. You're an adult at 18, but your body doesn't really stop growing till you're about 22, 23, muscles wise. So I'm about where I was when I was 22, 23, actually the same weight. So I went from 270 down to 223 pounds now. So that's a lot of weight to lose. And you know, I feel good. And I highly recommend it if you can get out and walk. And of course, you know, if you have issues, consult your doctor first. Very important. So we're gonna walk in this nice warm day today in Lewiston, Maine, in the United States of America, where democracy is not dead. I'm really starting to soak in the magnitude of the victory we had Tuesday and the shock waves that it has sent. So thanks. And so we got all this really cool stuff going on. People are realizing that the Democrats are rabid leftists, a bunch of elitists. They don't have their heads on straight anymore. They've lost the plot. And so that's just one of those things we're seeing now. There seems to be, they spent so much time separating classes, and they'd like to say they don't do that, but now, you know, the reason why Trump was successful is he reached across demographics with policy. You know, he'd say this policy is going to help this demographic. It's going to help everybody. It's going to help that demographic. It's going to help everybody. It was always an inclusive message. And it was a discussion of unity as a country. And it resonated. People want unity. They're tired of this fighting. And oddly enough, they perceived correctly that former President Trump, now President-elect Trump, boy, that sounds good, is for unity. And he's the victim. And he's not the victim specifically. The entire half of the country has been victimized by the left. And we fought back. We chose a champion. Trump isn't the king. He can't do anything by himself. He can be an executive, chief executive, a CEO of the corporation known as the United States. And things will be better for people. And they will come through. Because right now it looks like the House majority will fall for the Republicans. And even if it's not like a super majority, the fact that we have majority, now we can decide what goes on the floor for votes, what bills get voted on, and Trump has such a big say in the party now, he can't control the party, but he can put pressure on. If you guys want to get reelected, you should do this. Which is good, that's healthy. And right now we need 218 to have the majority, to maintain the majority we already have. And it looks like that's going to happen. So right now we got 214. There's about 9 Republican seats pending, 3 of which kind of iffy. But we need 4 more seats, and it looks like we are going to get those. But all we have to do is get the majority and let the chips fall where they may later. So anyway, looks like we have the Senate, and right now they are doing a secret ballot. Mitch McConnell is trying to do secret balloting in the Senate because he's a son of a bitch. Cocaine Mitch. Mitch, the son of a bitch, is playing the games he usually does. They want to have a rhino, and if you're not familiar what a rhino is, that is R-I-N-O, which is Republican in name only. That's what that means. So they're not really Republicans. They may as well be Democrats, because they behave like them more often than not. These are establishment Republicans who think it's still 1996. They want it to go back to 1996, and they want their own thing with their backroom deals and corruption and the stuff that got us to where we are today. And we need some new blood. Rick Scott in Florida is awesome. He's a Trump supporter. He's a common sense supporter. He would be really good at it. I hope he's considered, and I hope he wins, but as I've told you on this walk, the establishment usually always wins. Now, there would be a way around it, and Trump could do it. But before I say how he could do it, you have to understand that these people that are establishment senators in power do have a lot of power. And the thing with that is if Trump does something to piss these people off like he did with John McCain, we thought we had all the votes we needed to get rid of Obamacare. We didn't get rid of it because John McCain decided to put his personal hatred for Trump before country, and voted to save Obamacare, something that John McCain had complained about for many years. We had a chance to get rid of it, and his last thing that he wanted to do was to give Trump the middle finger, and that's what he did. So now we have Obamacare still because of John McCain. And that is a perfect example of angering people against you at a time where Trump basically has a short window to get things done. There's going to be midterm elections in 2026. Chances are Democrats are going to win the House for Congress, and we may have a fight for the Senate. So Trump has to, well, depending on who's going to be reelected in 2026, I'm not sure of who would be, but they serve 6-year terms, so every 2 years somebody's running for reelection. It may favor us or it may not, so I haven't checked that out yet. Point being is Trump needs to do this in the proper way without going after people and pissing them off, and I think he'll do that. He showed an example of that of Governor Kemp of Georgia. He was bad-mouthing Kemp, and I think what happened with that was many Republicans told that to Trump, said, hey, you know, you're trying to win Georgia. Kemp is pretty popular in Georgia. The last thing you need is a Georgia governor bad-mouthing you when you're trying to win that state to win an election that you have to win. So Trump changed his tune on that, and he listened. And I think a lot of that has to do with Susie Wiles, Trump's campaign manager, who ran a brilliant campaign, and I think she just knows how to talk to him. She's not in the public limelight. She never speaks publicly. And Trump made her White House chief of staff, and she will keep things in line. So she's very brilliant. She has a long history of being in politics and knows how things work. So she's an excellent person to have in that position. And she was with Trump all through 2020, not as that capacity of campaign manager, but they've known each other for a long time. And she's trusted, he trusts her. So, and she'll do a good job. So I have a feeling the reason why Nikki Haley and Mike Pompeo were just sent packing, basically, by Trump, is because Susie Wiles said, nah, we can't have these people. This is what both of them said about you, and they're just here grifting for a position, and they're not going to be loyal to you and the agenda you want to do. The first time they're upset with you, they're going to start talking to the media or leaking or something like that, and you know, we're tired of that. So I would rather have somebody in a position in the White House that's loyal rather than somebody that's in that position that actually could do a better job than somebody that's loyal. I think loyalty is going to be very important in this administration. And if they're a little rough on something, they can learn as they go. But we have a lot of loyal people. Kash Patel, he's one of them. Peter Navarro, he refused to testify for Congress or the Senate, I don't remember which one. And he was given a subpoena, he ignored it, and he went to jail for it. And I think that's the sort of thing, and he's never apologized for it. He told them that they persecuted him because he supported Trump, and you know, he's earned his stripes. So somebody like that is definitely going to have a position with Trump's administration somewhere, some form. Vivek Ramaswamy, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., Elon Musk. What do they all have in common? With the exception of Vivek, is they're all former Democrats. And it would not surprise me if I found out Vivek was also a former Democrat, but I really don't know. But it seems like these are all people that would have been great people for the Democrats if the Democrats hadn't gone crazy. Now they don't have a deep bench on the Democrat side. What are they going to do, right? So they're going to have to find somebody that they can shove out there for 2028. I still think it's going to be Shapiro in Pennsylvania is going to be one of them. He's probably the most qualified right now. So, don't know what you're going to see. You may even see Nikki Haley switch parties to Democrat. That wouldn't shock me. You know, she's obviously somebody that's more interested in power. And those are the people we don't want. So, kudos to the Trump team for sending her packing. And Mike Pompeo also. And, so anyway, we're on our way. We got what we wanted. Now we're going to put it all together and make it work, and it'll be beautiful. And like I said in the past couple of walks, the media has lost their power to do anything about it. Nobody believes them. And with that, I mean, nobody believes them. That's really the bottom line. So, you know, they just found out that screaming Trump is an orange Hitler didn't work. So, it didn't work. And it's not going to work. The people did not buy it. They didn't believe it. The media is toothless right now. And they're starting to realize it. When you can reach millions of people through podcasters, who, by the way, the media and the left establishment Democrats all went out of their way to try to ruin with far leftist groups like Media Matters. They're the people that try to get people like Tucker Carlson fired. They went after Bill O'Reilly years ago. And, you know, anybody that is right-wing on the air, they try to gang up on them, take away the advertisers, defund them, cancel them. And they tried that with these, podcasters like Joe Rogan, and Tucker Carlson's now podcasting, and Bill O'Reilly's been podcasting for a long time, and they're not owned by the media. And I would highly recommend watching or listening to her podcast. She's all over the place on different formats. Find one that you like, whether it's, I don't know what she does, Zoom XM or Spotify or whatever. And you know, the days of, oh, Joe Rogan had Alex Jones on Media Matters, and these people try to put pressure on Spotify to remove those podcasts so people can't go listen to them later. It's controlled censorship is what it is. And they're losing. They're losing. They're finding out that in America it's not possible to do that, and you're just going to make people angry. So that's what they're doing. Hey everybody. So hope everybody's having a beautiful week so far. It's just started, but hey, you know, winning feels good, does it not? And we will do what we need to do. If I can find a camera angle I like. Oh, there we go. So anyway, I hope everybody seeks peace with your brothers. I know this was a great win. There's a lot of people on the left who are bruised. They're afraid. They're angry because they've been lied to and poisoned, and we know that. So we need to come together and welcome these people into our tent if they want to join. And we need peace and quiet in America again. And we need to unite. All of this division, you know, that's why this big win was so important, because that was the media narrative. that Trump is a divider. He divides us. This is all Trump's fault. All this chaos is Trump's fault. Well, all the chaos and division has come from people that won't accept democracy. They won't accept that there are other people in this country different than they are. And, you know, they're the ones that did the hating. We were always on defense. So, clean this off. I can see a fingerprint smudge on there. So, you know, there was a lot of knives being thrown at us, and in defense, we threw knives back. So, you know, I was thinking about this. This goes way back to, I talked about this on my woods walk number 35 this past Sunday, yesterday. And this goes back to Obama. And I noticed as soon as we got into the war in Iraq that all of this left opposition, anti-war stuff kicked off. And that's when you started hearing about weblogs, okay? Blogs. It was journalistic type, diary, personal web pages, and some of them got pretty popular. And a lot of the stuff spread on there was propaganda, wasn't really factual. And there was no way to fact check, and I am all for getting rid of fact checking. I do love community notes, things like that on some social media platforms, but I don't like outright censorship using algorithms, because a lot of times they get things wrong. And, you know, they don't have the tone of the conversation. You know, like, especially with humor, they miss a lot of the, you know, violent humor, I'll call it. You're just making a joke about something blowing up, or, you know, and then your post gets deleted because you're promoting violence. That's not good censorship. So, free speech is free speech. For example, I can come on here and voice my political concerns without worry of somebody knocking on my door and disappearing me in the middle of the night. Some countries do not have that, sadly. So they don't say anything, because they would probably have a relative that did, and he was disappeared, he or she. So, we should be preaching peace, unity. That's what I'm going to do. I don't want revenge. I think I'll take Trump's example and say that the best revenge will be success. We'll be able to show them that they were wrong without having to say it. And I think we just did that with this election. And really, you know, it was a day of reckoning for them. They lost. They thought they were going to win because they were in the right, they were righteous, virtuous, and that turns out that's not what happened. So, beautiful thing happened. We had a lot of independents that don't necessarily like Trump, but they love the country, and they knew that Trump's policies are sound and would work. He was president before. People have had time to examine it. And I think when the Democrats made this about Trump, that's when they lost. And, you know, they went after him with lawfare. I think a lot of Americans found that distasteful. And so, which, by the way, as a reminder, November 26th, Thanksgiving weekend, Trump has a sentencing for the conviction that he has, which will be overturned on appeal. And given the new immunity rulings, Judge Mercand in New York, the biased, obviously crooked judge who engineered the evidence and rules to convict Trump with a jury that obviously hates Trump. There's no way he could get a fair jury in New York when they vote 80% Democrat. And it should have been moved somewhere else. But that's just me. So anyway, that being said, he's supposedly was delayed the sentencing that was supposed to come before the election. He delayed it to after the election because of the new Supreme Court immunity ruling for presidents. Now he has to weigh which part of that and testimony that was given in court that Trump should have had immunity from, that he did as president, which included tweets. So he may just dismiss this. He has the power to do that, but he won't. He'll probably sentence Trump, but not sentence him to jail. And the reason why he's going to do that, as I've explained it, is he's going to try to get the Democrats to try to get some kind of legislation, should the Democrats win Congress, which doesn't look like they will. But should they do that, they may try to get it made illegal for somebody that's a convicted criminal or a felon, more than likely, drunk driving charges won't apply, that they will turn around and try to say that you can't hold office if you've been convicted. So we'll see what happens with that, but I'm not going to hold my hopes up. So anyway, that's where we are right now. I mean, everybody's political science in the neighborhood is gone now. We're walking past the Kamala Harris section of town. The Trump section's about 3 miles over. Everybody has Trump signs, so, or had them. It's like these little tribal pockets. So anyway, I'm gonna flip the camera around. So basically what I'm saying is we won the election and now we have to produce. And the best way we can do that is to look for unity, not cause hate and division. Let them do that. It's not working for them. It's going to make them look like sore losers. It's going to make them look bad. So as the old saying goes, don't feed the trolls on the internet. I've been being positive. We're on the winning side of it. We're winning. A lot of their policies are losing. Bernie Sanders now has come out and said that we need to stop these woke politics. They're starting to crumble, okay? Just let it take its course. Let them figure it out. They're very proud. They don't want to admit that they lost the election with their policies. You have to remember, the progressives have been pushing these woke politics since Obama. The lawsuits filed against people that won't bake cakes for gay couples, which is their constitutional right to do that. And that's what the court ruled, but not before it turned into a circus. And it bankrupted the business, which the business then had to sue the college that promoted that, and he won. And it turns out some of these lawsuits are still popping up sometimes. You know, Democrats need to change their messaging. They need to stop that. They need to stop going after fellow Americans for their political beliefs. That is not liberty. That is not democracy. Their idea of democracy is one party in a socialist state, and that's just not going to happen in America, not without a fight. And if they really had just one power, and Kamala had one, she is absolutely horrible. She'd go on this major head trip. She's not very smart. She's not a good decision maker. And this country would have been gone for good. This was the best thing that happened. We need to make sure wokeism is destroyed so we can have normal Democrats run in 2028. And people with common sense, somebody like RFK, you know, I don't agree with everything RFK is for. I don't always agree with what he says, but that's what America is. We don't throw people into concentration camps who don't agree with us. And I've seen too many of those street polling where you stop and ask people questions like on the current policies, and a lot of these young voters are basically uninformed. They're really terrible. It's really frightening. You know, Trump's a racist. Well, why? What did he do? Well, he's just a racist. You know, they're programmed. So anyway, so we see that, and you know, legacy media is on its way out. It is. They have the lowest ratings they've ever had. Joe Rogan is getting more ratings on doing his podcasting than ABC News now. It's mind-boggling, but the numbers are there. That's a fact. So that's why they tried to shut down Alex Jones, who is still kicking. And even if he liquidates all of his equipment, he can just start over with a new company. They sued the old one. So, you know, Alex Jones isn't going to quit. He's not going to go away. You know, all they did was they hurt him, and he loves his country, and to him it was worth it. So, just like it was worth it to Trump to lose hundreds of millions of dollars of his wealth because he ran. So anyway, we're gonna walk on, enjoy life. We got our local politics going on. Jared Golden and Austin Terrio today with 2% of the vote left to count on the ranked choice voting. Jared Golden is leading by a smidge. It is literally 49.9% to 49.8%. That is crazy. I have never seen an election this close. I don't know what they're going to do to resolve it. They're going to have to do a recount, I'm sure of that. I would want one. So we may not know who wins this for another week. They'll declare a winner, and then it'll be challenged with a recount. And I don't know if there's some other angle. I know a recount is triggered automatically in Maine if there's less than 2% of the vote, which may be what they're doing now along with the ranked choice voting. So I think what they're going to do is finish up the ranked choice voting count, and then they'll do a recount because it's automatic. And I think that's it. So we'll see what happens with District 2 in Maine for CD2, Congressional District for Washington, D.C. We'll see if the Democrat is unseated or not. So we will see what happens. Anyway. Hello. So we'll see what happens with that election, and there's a few other elections like that tidying up across the country. Bob Casey in Pennsylvania is not willing to pack it in. It's pretty obvious he does not have an avenue to win for senator. McCormick won that election for the Republicans. He's challenging the election, which he has a right to. But the result's not going to change. So that's just the way that goes. If you look at the numbers in that election, Casey against McCormick in Pennsylvania, he really does not have an avenue to change the vote. He just doesn't want to, you know, you put a lot of time into it and you fight really hard and you're passionate about it, and you know, you don't want to give it up unless you're absolutely sure. So, you know, he has the right to do that. It just means he cares, okay? It could be for different reasons. It could just be because he wants the power, or he just legitimately cares. So, and he has the right to not step out right now. So anyway, things are going really well. We'll keep an eye on things, keep track of what's going on, and enjoy the win. This is the time now we're going to be able to watch the inauguration with smiles on our faces. We're going to have a good time. Things will change in this country. This was a change election. Politics are never going to be the same. And regardless, okay, whether Trump does a good job or not, the point is the Democrats lost on messaging. They talked to voters like they're stupid. They didn't listen to voters. They pushed agendas, and they pushed what the donors wanted to get pushed. So Democrats, like the Soros people who are far left, and they're the ones that poisoned Europe. They're trying that in the United States, and they were just handed a big fuck you from America. People like me. So you can thank me by clicking like and subscribing. That's all. I'm not monetized. It would just make me feel good to know that people actually care about what I talk about. And can go on our way and enjoy the victory. Enjoy it. So before the election, I had my flag outside the house. A car would go by and these two girls in it yelled at me, "Fucking racist," because it was a Trump flag. Hopefully this wind has, well, I know for a fact it has empowered a lot of people like me not to be quiet anymore. It's time to wear your MAGA gear, but keep your head on a swivel. And that's one thing I've noticed with these hardcore leftists. They're very angry and vindictive, and they are very upset that they lost. They might want to lash out. But we will be careful. So I suggest you love the Second Amendment and practice it. And that's about all I can say, I guess. So anyway. Oh, look at these beautiful dogs. Hello. Beautiful dogs. Look at that. So right now, you know, at times, I'll flip the camera around. You know, at times I understand you might not want to wear your MAGA hat or your shirts or whatever else, but I think you should. I think you should rejoice. And that's just how I feel about it. You know, walking, it's one of those things where I have to keep an eye on somebody being angry, maybe trying to run me over, you know? I don't know. We see things like that in the news. But I'm not going to live in fear either. That's what they want. So I've decided I'm just not going to care anymore. That's it. I saw the vote that happened here. Trump won this district. He lost the mostly populated areas by a lot. I had said 61% on my last walk in District 1, but it was actually 51%. So it was 51%, and Kamala, Trump had 44%, and the rest was divided up among independents. And you'd have to understand Southwest Maine has a lot of liberals and independents that lean left. They didn't like Kamala and they didn't like Trump, so they voted for an alternative. So, point being is Kamala did not win by a huge margin in CD1, and Trump won CD2 by 9 points, officially now. So that's really good. And it kind of felt like that on the walks, because I was telling you guys the Trump stuff all over the place. And you saw it with me, so anyway, we'll just pick up and we'll just move on. A lot of these people are going to be what I would call irredeemable, and I don't say it as an insult. I say it as factual. I just really think that some of these people, their brains have been so poisoned, they're not going to be able to deprogram. It's in their DNA now. They're always going to be hateful, and it's really too bad, but we're just going to have to throw them on the trash heap of history and move on. They'll have to get over it, and they will at their own pace. We'll have a new fresh breath of air of new Democrats with different messaging. The core values will remain the same. I mean, I legitimately believe that Democrats care about the working class and the working people, but they didn't prioritize them. And they need to stop talking to these different demographics as groups. Stop saying things that appeal to just Latinos and then blacks, and you need to have policies that cover everybody, and the rest will figure itself out. That's what Trump did. So that's the reason why Trump got an increase in all these demographics. He didn't talk to them like they were stupid. He told them the truth. The jobs in your area where you live are being taken by illegals, because they are. So all of these fear-mongering that they do, which is the kind of things they do is, oh, Trump's going to deport all these immigrants. He's going to use the military. He's going to round them up in rail cars. And nobody said that. He said very clearly, we are going to deport the known criminals. And then they say, how are you going to do that? Well, law enforcement has a record of these people. They were arrested for crimes. Fingerprints, photographs, things like that. They won't be hard to find. Round them up and get rid of them. So, now, the immigrant that has been here for a long time, producing, he works, he's just not a citizen. I believe there should be some sort of honest pathway to citizenship. Not amnesty. Not amnesty. If you've been here a long time and you started a business and you're an illegal and you've been here for 20 years and you've got 10 kids, whatever, become a citizen. Do it the right way. Seek asylum through official channels and become a citizen. That's all we're saying. We don't care how many of you want to be citizens. You can't just come here illegally. That's the problem. That's a criminal offense. It drains the system. It affects tax collection. It affects revenue for the country. Everything. So it's a problem. And the Democrats are using poisonous politics, where if you don't support that, it means you're a phobic, a transphobic, you're a xenophobe, you're you know, whatever, racist, bigot. So, you know, and the Democrats need to change that messaging. Stop promoting hate towards the other party and start promoting talking with them. So anyway, Democrats need to start promoting peace and unity. Have a difference in ideas, but promote discussing them. Stop with the censorship. Stop with the boycotting. Stop with the cancel culture. Stop with the woke politics. Neo-Marxist ideologies. That's all neo-Marxist stuff. Now, when I say that, everybody's like, it's not Marxism. Marxism has to do with financial distribution of wealth. And that's true. I said neo-Marxism. It's like, you know, you say somebody's being a neo-Nazi. They're not literally Nazis, okay? So, anyway, let me flip this around here. So we need to start talking again as a country, working out common sense solutions. An example would be Democrats saying, look, rents are too high, we need to find a way to get it down. And then a Republican says, well, what if we do this? And then the Democrat says, yeah, that's a good idea, but the problem with that is it does this. Instead of saying, oh, well, that's not going to work because you guys are racist and you don't care. And that's what's happening right now. People need to start talking, work things out. There shouldn't be one side in this country getting everything they want or the other person is the enemy. Problem is, these Democrats are pushing insanity because they're being controlled by donors. That's their problem. They're going to have to work that out or they're going to keep losing. So we're just going to enjoy what happens because the country spoke. People are tired of it. They're tired of their kid coming home from school and, Mom, I found out today I'm trans. The likelihood of that is so slim. Gender dysphoria is such a rare thing before this current social contagion that it was extremely unlikely that you would ever run into somebody that was. And now it's all over the place like a fad, which it is. So, and I hate to say it, but these people are being used by the left for politics. They're being used as an excuse by being deemed the marginalized. Republicans want you dead. No, we don't want anybody dead, okay? And that's what America just figured out, that stuff is all bunk. Because that's the media's answer for everything. I've been seeing these people on TV that can't accept this election result without blaming themselves. They can't blame themselves. And they should. They should just come right out and say, we screwed up. We did this wrong. And I think these executive CEOs of these companies are going to send out a memo to their employees on TV and say, look, we got to change what we're doing. We're not going to do that anymore. CNN tried to do that. They fired some people, made some changes, but they went right back to it. And they lost. So we just hit 4 miles. So I hope everybody's having a beautiful time and you're enjoying this hard-fought victory. And, you know, yes, it's a victory for you and America. And we kept the faith. We didn't give up. We didn't let them beat us down. And we're all going to be better for it. I promise you. The other thing I was thinking about doing, and I think it would be extremely beneficial at this point, is to start doing my own podcasting. I think it would be good, and I think I speak well enough, having a lot of experience in radio, for one thing. Being able to convey myself in messages and ideas. I think it would be a good idea to do podcasting. There is a sea of competition out there, however, but that's not why I want to do it. I think every American that has something at their disposal to promote democracy, the Constitution, morals, and the correct ideology of being an American, accepting of people that are different, promoting true equality without this virtue signaling woke BS. Everything isn't racist. So, I own different laptops. I could have laptops open, have my news articles I want to discuss, or quotes that were made by people, figure out the logistics of doing live video. Could possibly do something. There are a lot of apps where you can switch around and broadcast live simultaneously to multiple platforms. So I'm going to look into all of that stuff. I think it's time. Something to do as an older person with a little bit of wisdom. And the technology is available now to do things that we never dreamed of when we were younger. And I think it would be really cool. I think it would be cool to do that. And technologically, I'm kind of savvy. So, I think it would be good. I think every American right now should do whatever they can. Even if it's just talking to neighbors or when you're out shopping. Have discussions peacefully, without the hatred. Because the first thing that the left wants to do when they find out you're not with them is they want to argue. They want to start a fight. That is what they have been preached to. That's what they've been that's what they have been told is the accepted norm. And that's what happens when you talk to people that you think are racist or Nazis. You don't like them. So they allowed themselves to be poisoned that way, and I don't know if they're going to be able to deprogram, but, you know, if America is going to work, we're going to have to talk with them. And I think we should. Let them get angry and just ask them honest questions. Like I did with Chris on my walk in the woods. Thank you. So, with that, you know, he's coming at me with all this media talking points, and I just asked him honestly, you know, when did Trump say that? What did he say? What did you hear for yourself? And then listen to what they have to say. And then say, yeah, well, I can see how it looks like that, but this is actually what happened. A perfect example is the fine people on both sides. Charlottesville riot. The media narrative was that Trump was saying there's fine people on both sides, that meaning that Nazis and racists were fine people. It's not what he said. They took it out of context by clipping off part of the answer he gave. And what he said was, there are fine people on both sides of the argument on the removing the statues. Okay? In other words, he was saying there are people that may have a valid argument about Southern slave owners that now have statues, that perhaps we should just have a discussion and compromise on what should be done. There are fine people on both sides. They're not bad people that wanted to tear the statues down. He was trying to be impartial. And they ended up using that. And unfortunately, we had the President of the United States, Joe Biden, repeating it in speeches to the country. And thankfully, because the information is available online, people knew it was BS. And they didn't fall for it. So that has a lot to do with social media and people getting factual information, because the videos, you can actually watch the videos of that conversation. So when these people come out and try to say Trump said that, they look foolish. So that's part of the reason why Biden was at that low approval rating, beside the fact of inflation and every other thing they screwed up. But you know, they were poisoning the well with hatred. People are tired of it. They're tired of it. People are sick to death of it, myself included. So my brothers and sisters watching this, we need to start preaching unity. Country first, common sense. Republican Party needs to be the unity party, and it needs to be the party of common sense. Not condescension, not finger pointing. You guys are communists, you guys are terrible, which a lot of them are. But at this point in time, we need to find some kind of level-headed plane of existence with everybody, because united we stand, divided we fall. That's the truth. And we haven't been united, and we're falling, we're failing. So hopefully this election will change that. That's up to the Democrats. If they're going to go on a revenge tour and try to get these groups to cause chaos all the time against everything that Trump does, then, you know, that's what's going to happen. But the bottom line is, you got these governors who are saying they're not going to pay attention to Trump's immigration orders. They're going to find legal ways around them. But the bottom line is, the people of the country just voted for him. They just voted for those policies that Trump made very clear. We don't want illegal immigration here. Everybody in this country has seen what it did to Europe, what it's done to the UK, Ireland, Scotland, Britain, France, Germany. It's an endless list. Some countries have been forced to change what they were doing out of necessity, because they realized it was not what they should have done, and it's too late. So, you know, and some countries were smart enough not to do it, like Poland. So, you know, the United States has to do something about this. I say keep the good ones, get rid of the bad ones, and the good ones have to become citizens. And it's not amnesty. They have to earn it. You can't just sign a piece of paper and say, okay, well, now you're a citizen. No. Nope. Too many people have come here the right way. sometimes it takes them 10 years. I remember working with a guy from Somalia, a good guy, Abbas, his name was Abbas. And he was telling me about how Muslim militants in the town he came from would come by to collect what he called taxes. And if you didn't have them, they'd take the head of the household out and they would behead him for the whole town to see. And he told me that they would do this so the next time they come with their taxes to buy military stuff like bullets and to fight terrorism and whatever else, that they would do that to them. So, you know, he come from an area that was like that, and he was enjoying this country. So that's why America is great. We should always welcome people like that. Now, he wasn't a citizen, but he showed me a video on his phone of his son becoming a naturalized citizen. So his son, who was born here, wasn't born here, came here as a little kid, became a citizen. And he said his son is going to go to college, he's going to have a good life, and he said he was happy with that because a lot of his life was very difficult. And that's why America is great. And I enjoyed working with him. He was a cool dude. So, you know, those are good stories. That's what we want, okay? That's what MAGA people want. They want people to come here honestly, do things honestly, not take advantage of the system. And the Democrats don't do that. So, and they just lost because of it. So I suspect some things are going to change because they have to. And I think they know that. So we'll wait and see what the leadership of the Democrats have to say. Personally, they should have new leadership in the Senate. They should get rid of Chuck Schumer. They're never going to, of course, but they should. He's a very divisive individual causing a lot of these problems. Every time I see him speaking on video on a news channel, I want to wring his neck, not literally. So I'm not promoting hate, okay? It's an expression. So he's a very irritating individual because he's so partisan. And that is the poison that just caused them to lose, and I don't think he's going to be smart enough to see that. So a lot of these people are going to double down, and that's just the way it is with these people. So we will watch what happens with the Senate. Republicans do have the majority, and it is 53 seats. Kerry Lake might pull an upset in Arizona, but it might be unlikely. You know, I want to say there's shenanigans going on in Arizona because I cannot imagine people splitting their ticket, voting for a Republican and then not voting for the Republican senator. But realistically, Kamala was so bad, you may very well have seen that. People that reluctantly voted for Trump because they're going to put their hope in what Trump said about making them money, being able to get a house. And no message like that came from Kamala. So I think it's very well possible that people voted for Trump but not for Kerry Lake. I'm going to be honest about that, okay? I see a lot of stuff online. Nobody splits their ticket. Well, people do. People do. Especially in an election like this one, where a lot of people don't like Trump, whether it's warranted or not. And Kamala Harris was absolutely horrible candidate. But you want to vote. You don't want to just not vote for either one and waste your vote on an independent. So some people may have voted for Trump and then voted for the Democrat running for Senate. So anyway, I'm gonna flip the camera around. We'll finish up the last stretch here on our walk. Bye. See, now that's what I don't like right there. I just said hi to that kid. He's very young. He took a look at my hat and then he completely ignored looking at me. And that is a little microcosm of what's been happening. So I said hi to him and he just completely ignored me like I wasn't even here. But with some young people today, that may happen, whether I'm wearing a MAGA hat or not. So, oh, it's kind of an interesting looking sky. Look at that. So we're over 5 miles now. Almost 5.2 miles. My lower back is bothering me a little bit today because I do have a disc problem I've had since 2005. And in my woods walk yesterday, I stepped in a hole and I did one of those unbalanced things where I slammed down in the hole, and I did feel it when I did it. And it didn't really bother me until I got out to past 3/4 of this walk. It's starting to bother me now. But like I said, you learn to live with pain. I've had back pain for many years, kind of used to it. Feel it every day, just most of the time I don't really notice it. Right now I'm noticing it. We will get back to the ranch. I'll take a nice hot shower. It is a beautiful day today. I'm wearing a light hoodie. Probably could have got away with not wearing one. lot of these election signs have been picked up now, which campaigns are supposed to do within a certain amount of time. All I see left are the Angus King ones, the Independent, now the other thing I was disappointed in is my state representative against Lajoie, John Lajoie. The independent, not the independent, but the Republican, Clement, lost by 24 votes. Out of the few thousand votes, he lost by 24. I don't know if there's going to be a recount. I don't think so. It's disappointing. Very disappointing. That means my district I'm in is split 50-50 basically. And we also have for District 2, I am in District 96 for the state legislator level. And Congressional District 2 is also split 50-50. So we are 50-50. That's of the people that voted. Unfortunately, there's too many people that don't vote, and I wish they would. So, there are people that need to vote that do not. Right here, we have a dead squirrel. And straight above it, power lines. So it makes me wonder if he chewed something he wasn't supposed to and he got zapped. That's probably what happened. So that's unfortunate. I gotta change batteries. All right, fresh battery in here. So the squirrel didn't make it. I think the squirrel got electrocuted. Well, that'll happen. So anyways, we have a glorious thing that happened. We must enjoy it. And, you know, I think, I have a couple of oddball accounts here and there on places that do streaming. Odyssey is one. I also have an account with Twitch that I never use. And, I also have a Rumble account, which I hardly ever use. I got a YouTube account. And as long as I'm not promoting anything that isn't accepted by the censors on YouTube, you can do that on the other platforms, but YouTube likes to censor things. And right now it's the flippity gibbet. The COVID needle thing there, the flippity gibbet. They're back to censoring that after not doing so for a while. So you never know what their policy is going to be. And so, regardless, that's all right. Some platforms you can, some you can't. On the ones that you can, go ahead. The ones that you can't, well, just do what makes you able to talk. So we're going to do almost 6 miles today. Might actually hit 6 miles today. Actually, I know I will. So anyway, I'll flip the camera around. I just wanted to tell you guys that you guys are awesome. This has been a fun experience talking to you almost every day, leading up to the election, talking about all the stuff going on and the possibilities if we win. And we won. So we will keep on keeping on. Keep the faith. God bless you and your family. Click like and subscribe, share the content, and we will see you on the next walk, my friends. And stay happy, really, I'm serious. Enjoy this. Enjoy the inauguration. Enjoy the Democrats upset that Trump's not going to go to jail. And if they sentence him to jail, it's not going to help the Democrats. They lose either way, really. So we'll see what happens. November 26th, Thanksgiving weekend. God bless, my friends. See you on the next walk. Bye-bye, everybody.